demonstration of gender equality through institutions is far more easier and faster process than anywhere else. Educational institutions are considered having enormous potential to promote gender equality and eliminating traditional gender stereotypes, thus creating a more gender equitable society. Bridging gender gaps, creating gender equitable society, uh, social inclusion in education are some of the concerns which are very, very close to the heart of my today's guest, who wears many hats. Kusum Kanwar, who is an established K-12 educationist, social entrepreneur, and advocate of child and youth women development programs. She is also managing director of Kangaroo Kids Kandivali, chairperson of Shield Yourself Foundation, and Deputy President of Mumbai at Confederation of Indian Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please clap for Kusum Kanwar. Kusum, we welcome you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Good day and greetings to all of you, and to you especially, Rajni. Thank you for having me on your show, and the big-hearted introduction that you've given about me. I'm very delighted to be here, truly humbled and honored. And you've created such a wonderful community, of people for the thoughts to flow in together to drive change. So God bless you, your family to flourish and thrive. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be grateful as well. Unless someone like you cares a lot, nothing is going to get better in this world, is what I'll say. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kusum. We really appreciate for taking time out and joining us today. So, Kusum, let's start the conversation. And we would definitely love to know more about your entrepreneurial journey and the factors or those circumstances which led more affinity towards social causes, as you have been very, very active on social front also. So we would definitely love to know briefly about you and your social entrepreneurial journey.
Right. Thank you, Rajni. I'd love to talk about this. So being a K-12 principal, CEO of and founder of Arab Skill, director and owner of Kangaroo Kids Kandivali and Lokhandwala schools, is a long journey of experiences, I would say, culminating into an entrepreneurial melody is what I call it. So I'm able to reach, the stage in my life after close to 30 years of pursuing varied experiences. Now, my two daughters have been my greatest and constant teachers, I would say, and also my inspiration. So being a K-12 educationist and boldly infusing social innovation and thought into the way I cheer and celebrate social education, where I include mindfulness and conscious education, has often been, I would say, rich with challenges. As That's not the norm, that's not the norm of being, a school educator, you can say, or being a school principal. So my journey as an educator to an edupreneur has been gradual. It's been ongoing, and I'm still emerging. So my first training was being a preschool teacher before my firstborn daughter. Now, this passion and relevance continued from teaching in high schools to leading them as a principal in the process. And moving on to the corporate world of education with the KKL chain of schools was radical. As the concept of franchising and also corporate education was very new 17 years back. And for me, as as a head of school operations for Kangaroo Kids in Billabong High School, was highly progressive and intense. A lot of learning there. And now, as an edupreneur, it's sometimes hard. Like I always say, occasionally tough, but mostly stimulating, inspiring, and teaching a lot of resilience, especially in times like this. So, however, I like to call myself a teacher first and last. So, so I'm deeply driven by social emotional learning and social education in the school ecosystem. So currently in my organization, Arab Skill, which I call it a community, we work around an ecosystem to uplift everyone together, because I believe that every link in this chain has to be as strong as the other, including the teachers, the parents, the community, and that is for our future generations, the children. So an amalgamation, unflinching ideas and calm execution is a necessity for this thought to succeed. And the reasons for and causes for this affinity towards social causes like gender empowerment or be it inclusive education, there are many.
Mm-hmm.
So I run an inclusive school, Kangaroo Kids, and inclusive education in our, is a foremost driving force, you can say, which is inspired by a special school in Dehradun.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for called Karuna Vihar, and my home in Dehradun now runs the Latika Roy Foundation. That's a vocational training school for special children, and that's by my friend Joe Chopra. So that's my inspiration behind inclusiveness.
Wow.
And how we celebrate a diversity is again very inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So be it with teachers, be it with parents and children, in the mainstream education of say a high-end school like ours, like mine, Kangaroo Kids, or even the tribal children from RA Colony to be, or be it children from under the flyovers that we have in Mumbai. They all have a place in our schools. So to avail all these facilities and services, they can come in and we stagger timings for them. So like-minded colleagues of mine, my own family, my own sister, and friends have been able to come together for reaching out to all of these for inclusion.
Right.
Now, we call them, usually, we are always referring to when we sit down together, we call them our karmic children, which is hugely heartwarming and humbling, igniting the minds of thousands of children along our way. And I continue to do so in every which way I can reach them. Now,
Right.
speaking of social education, as this will be the single most powerful education that will drive diversity and gender sensitivity in any culture.
Right.
So, simply put, education that teaches us to be kind, compassionate, and empathetic, where children are able to think critically, sit around a table and solve problems peacefully. An
Mm.
education system that teaches us to be human beings first,
Indeed.
just
Indeed.
believing that we can change an entire generation in the next 15 years is not enough.
Right.
So, as a community of parents, teachers, schools, and society, we have the power to create and steer this generation. So, that is, as you rightly said, only through our education system, because that's the most powerful institution, but not the kind that you and I or our children are in now, but social education,
Right.
right? That's built on social, emotional learning skills and education built for the new age world,
Right.
also called the 21st century skills. So
Yes.
through these social emotional learning skills, one can build, one can shape socially and emotionally skilled children who then connect, communicate, and care for us and people around too, which will eventually create a society that embraces inclusion, that
Right.
embraces diversity, and will be gender sensitive, is my belief.
Right. Right. So, Kusum, as generally wise people say that gender equality begins at home and
Right,
families are at the front line of change. How do you
right.
reflect on this? What role do you think family members, especially parents, play in sensitizing kids towards gender equality?
Right. A very, very important and pertinent question, to reflect on, Rajni, because it always begins with you first.
Yes.
And it is largely only through education and society and families who can drive this change and bring about this parity,
Hmm.
right? And that can be seen, in what kind of stories are we sharing with our children? What
True.
are the children seeing at home?
Yes.
Are we showcasing gender equality through our action?
Hmm.
And presently, more than any other time, say a simple thing when we are distributing home chores.
Hmm.
So I'd like people to reflect. Hope we are not discriminating.
Right.
That cooking and cleaning utensils to be done by the girls or the women of the house,
Hmm.
and other specific chores by the men at home.
Right.
Because there is every stimulant available at home to develop, the auditory, the visual, the kinesthetic
Right.
learner at home. Skill development by contributing so effortlessly at home and while at play at home. So,
Right.
are we mindful of the kind of games or the household chores we distribute to our boy and a girl?
Right.
Just some examples for all of you all to just think about it.
Hmm.
Think in your minds, what is it that you do and what is it that you ask your children to play, a boy or a girl? Because
Right.
this is very often we talk to our parents as well.
Hmm.
Throwing balls, washing bike,
Hmm.
whether it's hand painting,
Hmm.
cleaning your room,
Hmm.
tent making,
Hmm.
talking and constantly communicating with family about the processes, right?
Hmm.
Feeling a sense of pride and accomplishment. How much do we ask and who do we ask more?
Right.
Yoga,
Right.
chess, board games, making besan laddus.
Hmm.
This is my favorite activity because there are all your senses are at play, right? Your
Yes.
smell, your visual, your auditory, your eating. It's all sensorial experience.
Right.
One of the best activity to involve all family members and speak of roles and responsibilities. Also talking about gender sensitivity here. It's a great opportunity which one must not lose, I tell them.
Right.
Washing utensils, even breaking an egg, that's a skill, right? So who does it?
Hmm.
Are you teaching your boys that?
Hmm.
Watering plants,
Hmm.
serving,
Hmm.
setting the table, and so
Hmm.
much more.
Hmm.
And then there is this huge thing about reading.
Hmm.
So again, because that is something which I feel the kind of books, the literature that our children are exposed to from early years and
Hmm.
right through the schooling years, it's
Hmm.
very, very important tool that communicates a whole lot about gender sensitivity, about diversity, about inclusion.
Hmm.
As I'll talk to you about a universal research based fact that the first 5 years of a child's life are fundamentally important. So
Right.
they are the basis that shapes the child's, our children's, not only their attitudes or personality, but their future health, their happiness, the growth mindset. So, and even achievement in schools, so say that academic achievement. So their experiences in the family, in the community, and in life in general is all impacted so much by books and so much they see around. So when the early years and schooling experiences will be full of gender biases,
Hmm.
how will this parity be achieved?
Hmm.
So I would like to reflect specifically on the curriculum, through textbooks. That is the basis of all our learning in schools and homes. Why the need to have books with equal representation?
Hmm.
The need to consciously read and teach through textbooks, through storybooks in schools which have equal number of boys and girls.
Right.
There are equal number of boys and girls are represented in books. So pick up any book and I would want you all to go and see these, see whether it's any other board. So single parent, do we have pictures of single parent? Are we talking about a mother who manages a home as well as chores outside the home?
Yes.
It sounds very basic, Rajni, but it is often untouched by editors who like to consider gender portrayal as a special or diverse subject from children's literature or
Hmm.
children's textbooks that they're reading.
Hmm.
And we as schools also asking for a change. Our everyday textbooks that children read not only follow the gender stereotypes, but
Hmm.
also reflect patriarchy profusely.
Hmm.
Hindi and English textbooks, they lack equal validation of men and women, and even history and civic books
Hmm.
sometimes distort women in
Hmm.
text as well as illustrations. I
Hmm.
mean, we've all been through this,
Right.
and it's still there, and I'm very hopeful with the new education policy 2020, which is it's a landmark decision after 34 years. There's going to we're going to see a lot of change, and but nevertheless, whenever till the change comes,
Hmm.
most texts have only one thing in common: that
Right.
boys are active members and occupied in physical activities, whereas girls are passive and often framed in traditional and festive context.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So
Which
I
is
like to
true also.
fight some.
Which is
Yes,
true
yes,
also. Yes.
yeah, it is. So what I'm citing, I'll cite two examples here.
Hmm.
So that is a couple of years back, the Hindu newspaper
Hmm.
reported that, class 5 environmental studies textbook, it
Hmm.
portrays soldiers, doctors, and officials as men, right? Women are relegated to domestic duties,
Right.
cooking and cleaning tasks. So in terms of even proportion, what they said, that more than half the illustrations are of men,
Hmm.
while only 20.6% show women.
Hmm.
How? So what is it that we're teaching our children,
Hmm.
right?
True.
So
True.
there's Kalia, Mr. Kalia, who teaches sociology at the Buffalo State College in New York.
Okay.
And he studied 20 Hindi and 21 English language textbooks which is provided for more than 13 lakh students annually.
Right.
So some of the books have been prepared by the are in use in states other than those included in the sample. So out of a sample of 188 lessons, 114 lessons still have male subjects or leading characters, while only 13 feature women, right? He further reports that in family settings, particularly, a subtle degradation of females is a foregone conclusion. So when are we going to change?
Yes.
So as recently, as last year, 2 years back, I think, the national newspaper publicized details of a book taught, it was titled Health and Physical Education.
Hmm.
So, which is an endorsement that 36, 24, 36 is the
Oh,
shape of females that's
yes.
considered the best.
Yeah.
So what do you make of that?
Hmm.
That is why in Miss World or in Miss Universe competitions,
Hmm.
such a type of shape is also taken into consideration.
Right.
So
Right.
mindsets are formed by then,
Yes.
right? They're
Hmm.
forming these mindsets.
Hmm.
Uh, I also like to, talk about a panel discussion. I was part on a news channel. This is about 2 years back for
Hmm.
another textbook which taught, under the openly compares
Hmm.
a woman to a donkey. Can you
Oh
beat
my
it?
God. This
Yeah.
is.
Another text reflected if a girl is ugly and handicapped, then it becomes difficult for her to get married. So, to marry such girls, the boy, the bridegroom, and his family demand a lot of dowry.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So, doesn't this need to change
Hmm.
in schools and homes as well?
Hmm.
As both homes and schools are the two biggest front lines of change for the child and the two biggest institutions that shape a child, actually.
Indeed.
So there's a huge lot of change, mindset change that is required here.
Right, right, right. In fact, Kusum, you have been talking a lot about social inclusion also of late. I have watched a couple of videos also where you have been very, very vocal about social inclusion and the importance of social inclusion in today's society. So I just want to understand, being a mother also, I think this interests me a lot, that how do we encourage our kids to embrace diversity and insist on inclusion from different genders, ethnicities, as well as colors? It is very difficult because
Very
somewhere we have seen ourselves here, somebody here. This is just a social conditioning that has shaped us, that has shaped our perception, our personalities. So to some extent, probably kids are not responsible for what they have been thinking because they have been shaped like this.
yeah, true.
So yeah.
So I would say send them to schools who practice growth mindset, who
Hmm.
practice gender sensitivity,
Hmm.
right? And who practice diversity, who practice inclusion.
Yes.
Check the curriculum, check the content, check
Hmm.
the visuals, the
Hmm.
behaviors,
Hmm.
let's role model in such a way that it shows, their books, their curriculum shows a more equitable distribution of roles in the household.
Right.
Men and women in non-stereotypical roles. So a man can be feeding the baby,
Hmm.
changing nappies,
Hmm.
a woman changing a tire,
Hmm. Hmm.
working on a laptop, that kind of a thing. But
Hmm.
this is not done. So expose children to books by, I've got some fantastic books here, which are by Young Zuban, or Tulika, Pratham. They have great materials specifically related to breaking gender stereotypes. Also, there are some good series of good night stories for rebel girls, which is a great book to start the conversation about gender with children. Now, also considering the dismal state of gender parity regulation in Indian textbooks, be it storybooks, be it their regular textbooks, it may well be that the onus, like you rightly said, as a parent, it rests on us as parents and on conscious schools and educators to provide role models and inculcate the value systems for a fair and equal society. So it's important to empower ourselves and people around us by being the change agents ourselves. Leading change across the most basic realms is a powerful lesson for us and for our children. So with a sometimes, desensitized society bound by outdated traditions, their customs and hypocrisies, thus bridging the gender and other social gaps, it needs tackling from a 360-degree perspective, complete 360 perspective. Now, enhancing access to schools, what we can do is, access to schools, the infrastructure, making conditions conducive for women to work by tightening the laws, immediate redressal of complaints. There's so much domestic violence reported even in these times. So what are we doing about it, right? Gender and adult education will go a long way to ensure that women are empowered, that we all are empowered, ensuring that educated citizens are indeed skilled to get jobs, enhancing a job skill match. Uh, all this will confirm that young women and moms are circulating their energies productively. So this 360-degree perspective will have to take, we will have to take along, all the marginalized sections of the society rather than them being discovered as unfortunate casualties. So children will automatically learn as they embrace and pick up all these attitudes from the environment. So a lot more that can be done, from the social, emotional learning aspect as well.
Right. And so that lot more, I would love to know from you, and I would love to give out this message to all the parents, schools, and institutions from your end. What lot more would you suggest to all institutions, all schools, or parents that is needed to be done, or that can be done?
Right. So, Rajni, first and foremost, as parents, do not undervalue the work you do at home. Attribute your skills to it. Very often, we ourselves do not value the work we do at home, and we underestimate our contribution in running home seamlessly. Be proud of the household chores that you do, especially what you've achieved in these last 4 months single-handedly. So your children are watching. So constantly speak of the skills you develop, right? Whether it's cooking, it's cleaning, etc. Also the value and importance of transfer of skills.
Right.
Like when you are cooking, you are in the kitchen, you're doing something very important, right? You're doing inventory management. Your, your organizational skills come to the fore. There's teamwork that is, involved at home. Safety in these times, your health, your hygiene, all this management you're doing, right? So how you're managing your work from home and also your work at home. So all this needs to come out. All this needs to be, it needs to actually, we need to sit down with our children and talk about transfer of skills, right? And that's how they're going to understand. That's how they see us, being role models in front of them. So we ourselves, if we, undervalue our work, why would anyone else value it?
Right. True.
For schools and for institutions, the messages in the midst of this COVID-19 crisis, all fellow educators, like me, are wondering what and how we need to be preparing our students for the future. As this pandemic has not only changed how to teach, but also what to teach. Right. So according to, I'll quote Dell Technologies, they report that 85% of the jobs in 2030 that the generation Z and Alpha will enter into have not even been invented. And according to World Economic Forum, report about 65% of primary school children today will be working in job types that do not even exist. So what are we preparing our children for?
Indeed.
So the COVID-19 crisis may well have changed our world
Mm-hmm.
and our global outlook. It has also taught us about, how education needs to change. So to be able to better prepare, our young learners for what the future might hold.
Mm-hmm.
We all profusely teach the 3 R's.
Mm-hmm.
However, teaching them to be human beings
Right.
is first and foremost. That's more important. They need social nurturing as much as academic nourishment.
Mm-hmm.
It is essential to have a generation that is
Mm-hmm.
kind, that is compassionate and empathetic,
True.
who are encouraged for a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So thus to develop critical skills for children at all grade levels, including, their reading, problem solving, and communication
Mm-hmm.
will be a given. So added to this urgency are social emotional skills of resilience, of collaboration, of flexibility, and positive coping skills. And we do have the power to create and steer the generation right now through social emotional learning, and all of us to build an inclusive society that is gender sensitive and embraces diversity.
Right.
My recommendation, Rajni, to conclude is don't let your fire die.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you are passionate about, pursue it at whatever level. Be relentless. Of
Right.
course, there's so much more left to be done, but it will be done.
Right.
Thank you.
Are you listening, ladies? Are you listening to Kusum? If you're actually listening to Kusum, then please follow her advice. This is imperative for you. This is imperative for this society. And Kusum, thank you so much for sharing your perspective and discussing these sensitive topics, which are though sensitive but very essential to be addressed in our society. And we definitely need to work a little more on these topics. We are definitely working. So many institutions, so many societies are actively working on these things. The whole world is actively working on creating a gender equitable society, but still there's a long way to go. And Kusum, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much for having this lovely discussion. We wish you all the best for your future projects and endeavor that you take up. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you so much for having me here. Thank you.
Our pleasure, Kusum. Thank you guys for watching. Take care and bye.